grab a seat in the shade there. Hi, thanks for being here. Yeah, we're going to start in about 1 minute. So go grab a seat in the shade. Yep, you're going to hear some singing, and you're going to hear some poetry and some young people. Uh-huh. Paul. My name's Paul. Thanks for being here. Oh, wow. Thank you. We good to go? Good morning, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started here. I know some of you have been here for a few hours already, but for those of you who have just arrived, I just want to welcome you to the California 9/11 Memorial with that important mission of honoring, educating, and remembering. My name is Paul Leffler, and it's my privilege to welcome you to this event, which is One Voice, the Spirit of 9/12. And it really fits that mission of honor, educate, and remember. When we honor the past, when we remember the past, we not only inform our present, but we have the chance to inspire our future. And you're going to get a taste of our future this morning from some amazing young people in our community. What we realized, what some great wise leaders in our community realized a couple of years ago, is that all the kids in school now weren't alive yet when September 11th, 2001 took place. And there are students now from all over the Central Valley who've been learning about that. They spent a lot of time learning about it. They've created logos, poetry, and art to represent their feelings and thoughts about what happened 20 years ago today. Fresno County received over 176 entries for this year's One Voice contest. Maybe we'll see even more next year. Yeah, you can clap for all those who entered. And just so you all know how this works, for the initial judging, the Fresno County Superintendent of Schools Office, Departments of Visual and Performing Arts, English, and History, reviewed each entry and selected the top 10 entries in each category, separated by middle school and high school. The final judging was done by firefighters and police, who then selected the top 3 entries in each category and the 2 grand prize winners. The students who are the top 3 in each category are going to receive their awards today. And the high school students, they receive a $1,000 scholarship for college, a certificate, a medallion, and of course the 2021 t-shirt, who you're going to see the choir wearing right over here in a minute. The middle school students will receive an iPad, a certificate, a medallion, and one of those beautiful t-shirts. And this is really amazing, folks. 2 grand prize winners will receive a trip to New York City to visit the National 9/11 Museum, the Statue of Liberty, Ellis Island, so many other historic sites. And they'll get to go there with their parent and teacher. So students who are part of this today, good luck. We'll have those results shortly. And just a reminder, right after the award ceremony, the students are going to be under the tents to the east of us. Which way's east, right? It's over there. You guys all know that's where the sun is. So those tents over there, that's where the students are going to be. And they'll be there so you can meet them, so you can thank them for their participation. And they'll even sign replicas of their logos, their art, and their poems if you would like their signature on that. Who knows what these young people are going to be doing 20 years from today. And if you didn't get a program, make sure you grab one of those. All of the top 3 logo, art, and poetry entries are printed in your program. If you were here earlier this morning, you saw the honor guards, who are select members of the departments around our community who practice, help, and organize to carry the flags, the colors at memorial services, funerals, and other special events. And 20 years ago, a few months after this happened, in December of 2001, that was the first time ever that the honor guards of the combined command of fire, police, and military came together in Fresno and Clovis for the first ever September 11th memorial right here on what was then the Pelco campus. And they have continued that now for 20 years. If you have seen that new bronze statue, which is over to my right, the Marine, have you seen that? The Marine over here with that folded flag. If you haven't gone up close and personal yet, get up close and take a look at it. And when you're doing that, carry your program over there. Maybe you want to do this right now. You flip to page 12. You'll see right away the logos of all 6 branches of service now that we have the Space Force. But down below that, you will see what those folds of the flag mean. Each one of those folds has a special meaning. And you saw that ceremony this morning. Now you'll know what it means when you see that. And speaking of the flag, we want to start by saluting the flag. So I would invite all of you guys to stand, please. And we would like to welcome a student from Clovis Unified School District, Maya Alcala, to lead us in the flag salute. Maya? Maya's coming. So you can face the flag. Here you go.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Maya. It's back, okay. I'm glad you knew to take your seats. And now, you're gonna get a treat here from the choir. This is the Clovis North High School Chamber Choir under the direction of Heather Bishop. It's a piece entitled Remember Me, and you will have no doubt what it's all about. The Clovis North High School Chamber Choir.
Gone far away into the sun.
Thank you, Clovis North High School Chamber Choir and Heather Bishop, Director. Well, what they just sang about, get my grammar correct, is what we're here for today, to remember. And I don't know about you, but it sure is encouraging to me to see so many young people who are learning about something they didn't experience the way the rest of us did. And if you were here earlier this morning, you know full well that outside of New York City, there is nowhere that can make the history of 9/11 come alive like the California 9/11 Memorial. It is such a blessing to our community and to our entire state that people had the vision to produce this here so the rest of us can come and remember and learn. And I'd like to introduce to you next, and they can start walking. I know it's a long journey to the podium. We have the Executive Director of the California 9/11 Memorial, Anna Borges, and she'll be joined by the Chair of the California 9/11 Memorial Board, Jerry Cook. And as they come, continue clapping. Let's thank them for their leadership to have this here in our community so we can do this.
We fight like this all the time. Thank you very much, and good morning, and welcome to our celebration today of the American spirit. The California 9/11 Memorial is committed to honor, educate, and remember. This memorial and all of its monuments are dedicated to honor our first responders, and our annual commemoration, like the one that we were at today, this morning, is our promise to also remember. And today I'm proud to actually share with all of you that our commitment to education and to educate our youth took us all the way to Sacramento. Earlier this year, the California 9/11 Memorial worked with members of the California Senate to pass SB 254, September 11th Remembrance Day, a bill that encourages teachers in both secondary and primary schools to observe a moment of silence in the classroom to commemorate 9/11. This bill was passed unanimously and signed into law in July. It is truly a testament to our commitment as Americans, regardless of political party, to never forget. So I would like to call up our Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Jim Iovino, to accept a copy of this bill, and Senator Andreas Borges. To you to give over there.
Thank you. So we are waiting the official signatures, but we ended session late last night, so you'll get it probably next week or so. That's great. Thank you so much. So I'll do this with you then?
Yes, we'll grab it. We'll just take it back.
I'm just going to give you a kiss because I can.
Oh. So as I was trying to figure out how do you move from the commemoration, which is a somber event, to now our celebration of youth, of educating them, of reminding what it is to be an American, the spirit of America on 9/12. And in order to capture that feeling, I did a little bit of research. But sometimes I find it might be a little bit better to hear what people say on the outside, especially when you're on the inside. And so a few weeks ago, I came across this piece, and it was written by a Romanian reporter days after September 11th in 2001. And it was written in Romanian in his local newspaper. And it was called An Ode to America. And so he writes, "Why are Americans so united? They would not resemble one another even if you painted them all one color. They speak all the languages of the world and form an astonishing mixture of civilizations and religious beliefs. On 9/11, the American tragedy turned 300 million people into a hand put on a heart. Nobody rushed to accuse the White House, the Army, or the Secret Service. Nobody rushed to empty their bank accounts. Nobody rushed out onto the streets nearby to gape about. Instead, the Americans volunteered to donate blood and to give a helping hand. After the first moments of panic, they raised their flag over the smoking ruins, putting on t-shirts, caps, ties, and the colors of the national flag. They placed flags on buildings and cars as if every place a government official or the president was passing by. How on earth were they able to respond united as one human being? He continues in his article to explain his attempt to understand how Americans came together and talks about watching a musical telethon, America, a Tribute to Heroes, which aired 10 days after 9/11, and after those attacks brought together America and raised over $200 million, centered around music and centered around the American spirit. And he says, imperceptibly, with every word and musical note, the memory of some turned into a modern myth of tragic heroes. And with every call, millions and millions of dollars were put into collection, aimed at rewarding not a man or a family, but a spirit, which no money can buy. And he asks, what on earth unites Americans in such a way? Their land, their history, their power, their money. And he tried for hours, he said, to find a conclusion, and the only one he came up with was only freedom can work such miracles. And so with that, I think it's very fitting, bringing together the music, bringing together education, the spirit of America, our educators, our board, and our community to ensure that our children never forget. So thank you very much, and I'm so happy to be here to celebrate the American spirit.
I want to first express appreciation to Senator Andres Borges for authoring this wonderful bill and getting it through a legislature. Interested from the other side of the aisle to get this through unanimously. I don't think many people have done anything unanimously in the state legislature lately, but thank you, Senator Borges, for a bill that will call for a moment. Yeah, let it clap. Call for a moment of silence in all of our schools in California on 9/11. And thank you, Superintendent Jovino, for the awesome job of bringing all the schools together in your role as county superintendent. We are so grateful to you, Superintendent Jovino. And there's one other person that is just truly amazing, and we are so blessed to have had her have her as our executive director, who is a miracle lady. I don't know how she does everything she does. And I ask you to salute Anna Borges, Executive Director, for the amazing leadership she's provided. Anna? When you use the word godsend, we think of Anna as a godsend to the California 9/11 Memorial. I just have a real quick remark. I think that I can't think of a better segue between this morning's ceremonies, which were honoring and remembering our firefighters, our police, our military, our veterans, yes, and citizens that all responded and were honored here this morning, and then to segue into the one voice. And I'd like to paraphrase something that President John Adams wrote to Abigail Adams in May of 1780. And I'm paraphrasing. Youth ought to study warfare, mathematics, and geography in order that their children have the right to study painting, poetry, and beautiful music. Through the beautiful poems and artwork these youths have shared with us this morning, they help us to never forget. And maybe instead of never forget, we should say, always remember. Thank you.
So with that, I'm going to pass it over, but I do want to take a moment to thank our honored guests for being here, including Mr. Blake McDonald, son of the late David McDonald. So thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, Anna and Jerry. Beautiful remarks. And when you heard that Romanian writer's words of one American hand over one American heart, as Anna said, the beat of that heart is freedom. And young people have so many examples that they're going to see in their lifetimes of the value of freedom, and we certainly know the price paid for it. So to give you some examples of just how much our young people get this, we're going to get into the awards now. If I can have Dr. Michelle Cantwell-Kofer come up. She's our assistant superintendent in Fresno County, and she's going to say a few words, and then award, the logo award. If you've seen the t-shirts, you already know the winning logo. Each year, the winner of this contest gets to see that logo on the One Voice t-shirt. So maybe if you're here today and you haven't entered this contest yet, you'll come up with an idea for next year. And there's the sound of freedom right there with our F-15s from the 144th Fighter Wing of the Air National Guard. And now Dr. Michelle Cantwell-Kofer.
Good morning. It is such an honor for me today to speak to you, particularly because 9/11 is very personal to me and to my family. It was a day like no other. I was at work, but my mother was working in the Ronald Reagan building on the Mall in Washington, D.C., and my father was serving the United States Navy at the War College in Rhode Island. And while I was at work and the news was unfolding, I was in a panic. Fortunately, a series of friends and family served in a sense of a phone tree, and within about 3 hours, we were aware that my mother, who was working about 1 mile away from the Pentagon, was okay. And my father, serving in the military, assured me we were going to be all okay. And you know, as the news unfolded again, cell towers were down, communication channels were down, but we knew we were going to be okay. Sort of. Because really, for many of us as Americans, we were changed in that moment because we recognized that this country that we love was in harm's way. And as we watched the video images then and now, we couldn't help but really be reminded about how vulnerable that freedom is. Because I'm an educator, I was also struck by what that event might mean for our children. The message that we in education today want our children to understand most is that we should honor, educate, and remember, particularly those heroes who ran to help. We owe a great deal of gratitude to our first responders, our military service members, our airline pilots, and other helpers of the day. My boss, our Fresno County Superintendent of Schools, Jim Iovino, is very committed to making sure our children remember 9/11. Today, the 20th anniversary, I'm proud to say we at FCSS are all in. Jim approves significant staff time and talent and resources to this event, but more importantly than that, we make sure that our students have academic activities such as art and poetry assignments that invite them to think deeply. That invite them to think deeply about what 9/11 means to us, to them, and to Americans. In this way, we make the learning, again, honoring, remembering, and educating, relevant to them. And case in point, to quote one of our poetry winners, Miss Bella Catania, quote, "Thank you for being a hero for me." Before we begin the student awards, I'd like to thank the committee for this opportunity. Thank you so much for this morning's ceremony. It was beyond moving, and it was really a wonderful opportunity to be here among friends and colleagues and to engage our youth. Thank you for helping us in education translate this event to a powerful teaching moment for our children. I think I get the privilege of recognizing the logo winner. So, if you are named Miss Valerie Pham, I'd like you to start making your way up to the podium. Valerie comes to us from Quail Lake, Sanger Unified, and she is the winning logo designer. And you'll be able to see her logo on page 3 of the program. Valerie, congratulations. Valerie.
Well, first I'd like to say I'm very grateful for this opportunity. I'm grateful for America, and it's kind of a really big deal for all of this to me. So this logo is really just inspired by 9/12 being the outcome of 9/11, togetherness out of tragedy, and that's it. Thank you all very much.
If you haven't looked at that logo yet, it's in your program, and take some time to look at it. There's a lot of detail there and depth to the meaning. And if you want to talk to Valerie about it later or have her sign that logo or one of the t-shirts, she'll be in that tent over there. Up next, we have our Poetry Awards, and we've already been given a couple examples already with what Anna and Jerry shared, the power of the written word to capture something. So I'd like our Assistant Superintendent, Brian Wells, to come up. He's in charge of Goal 2 at Fresno Unified School District, and he is going to present the Poetry Award winners. Let's give Brian a hand.
Well, good morning, everyone. It is indeed an honor to be here. The sounds of freedom flying above us. I can't stop but help pausing. It doesn't matter if it's an airplane that is from the fighter wing or if it's one of our other heroic pilots that are around us. It all has the same symbolism, freedom. I'd like to take the opportunity to thank Fresno County Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Jim Uvino, for inviting us to come. And on behalf of our superintendent, Dr. Robert Nelson, and our deputy superintendent, Misty Herr, and the 74,000 students that we have in Fresno Unified, it is an honor to be here. Gotta love those afterburners, and that's what I'm talking about right there. I'm in the flight pattern, so I just live directly east of here, so it's an amazing sound to hear on a daily basis. A few of the things that I'd like to share is that you say, Goal 2, what in the world is Goal 2? Well, we are now changed to student engagement, which really is encumbering all arts, athletics, and activities in our district. And so I have the responsibility to oversee a wonderful team that is focused in on the arts, athletics, and activities for the district. What I would like to be able to talk with you about, first of all, is I'd like to extend my gratitude to Senator Borges, your wife, Mr. Cook, and also to Mr. McDonald. I just want to say thank you. I want to take you on just a journey backwards first, because I was here 20 years ago. I was the principal of Tarpey Elementary School. Proud principal, still bleed the black and red of Tarpey. And the day was of, I'm gonna wait just a second if that's okay with you. I just wonder if they can turn those things on and off real quick like that all the time. On September 12th, we began to emerge with unity of our citizens. The student voice here, honoring those first responders and not forgetting the sacrifice of our firefighters, police officers, and our armed forces, both locally and nationally. That's okay with me. Now we got even horns going, so that's even better, so I get a little bit more fired up with that. but it sets a spirit of what may I do from here, from those that to support those in New York, the Pentagon, Flight 93 in the sky above Shanksville, Pennsylvania, which started, which staved off an attack that was destined for another location that was going to cause harm. Our military, all branches, guarded our nation, protected our skies, and they gave safe space to our students to know that they will be okay. As I stated, this is a bittersweet moment because being the principal of Tarpey Elementary School just down here at Minnewawa and Gettysburg, we had a profound personal attachment. John Boston Cunningham, our plant coordinator at Tarpey at the time, his brother was working in the World Trade Towers in the telephone room and had not heard whether or not his brother was alive or if he had perished during that time. We gathered together, we prayed, and fortunately, we received a phone call stating that his brother had in fact made it out alive, and such a cause for celebration. With the statute of limitations now being over, Dr. O'Farrell, I want to let you know that I violated board policy back in the day. And 19 years ago, we dedicated a baseball field on the southeast corner of the school for the fallen and to the first responders, and we renamed it Freedom Field. We also, as a community, stood side by side with honored guest dignitaries, but most importantly, the students. They were intimately involved. Their voices, their song, and their writing. It's a time for healing now, and we want to make sure that we can let that settle in. And so I would just like to say thank you for staying here and coming in to share. As a father of a first responder, my daughter is a fire. Hit him one more time. Come on, guys. And I promise, Kitty, I'll be done quick. As a father of a first responder, my daughter Rebecca is a police officer with the city of Fresno. My son, David, has his master's degree in Homeland Security, and I believe all of that is the essence of the onset of what had occurred in their educational lives. To carry on the torch, we must embolden our students to hear their voices and let them be heard. And as that last jet waves, I would like to say the voices of the students must be heard and the lessons of our past must be taught and continue to be taught. So at this time, for poetry, may I call up the following 3 poets for middle school. May I call up from Endeavor Charter School, Lydia Avent. Lydia? And thank you. I do appreciate the support and help because I get a little bit off at times when it comes to the flights and all of the other elements. So, Maylise Ariano from Glacier Point Middle School, Central Unified School District. Rebecca Tillman from Rayburn Intermediate Middle School, Clovis Unified. And Isabella Catania from Computech Middle School, Fresno Unified. At this time, Bella will be reciting her poem, to us.
Hello, everyone. My name, as you know, probably is Isabella Catania. My poem is called Through the Eyes of a Hero, and I want you guys to think about that for a second. Heroes aren't just the people who are here. Heroes are the people who walked up those 78 flights and more. Heroes are the people who help others. Now I will recite my poem, Through the Eyes of the Hero. Look at that.
While we're waiting for that guy to hit the afterburners, just if you see Lorenzo Rios, be sure and thank him. I think he had some encouragement with some of our flyovers, and it's been known when they fly over the American flag, that's when they hit the afterburners. Okay, here he goes.
Sorry, I'm pretty tall. Through the Eyes of a Hero. September 11th, 2001 at 8:46 a.m. Flight 11 hit the North Tower, killing all 92 people on board. 9:03 a.m. Flight 175 hit the South Tower, killing all 65 people on board. 9:37 a.m. Flight 77 crashes into the Pentagon, killing all on board and 125 military members on site. 10:03 a.m. Flight 93 crashed into an open field in Pennsylvania, killing all on board. First responders got there as soon as they could. Some didn't even know what happened. 19 hijackers, 3,000 killed in total. While others ran out, they ran in. The Pentagon engulfed in smoke. Flames erupted in both towers. And on that day, Oreo Joseph Palmer led his team of firefighters all the way up to the 78th floor of the South Tower in an attempt to save the people who weren't able to escape on their own. Tragically, he lost his life due to the South Tower collapsing. He died heroically doing what he took an oath to do. And there are many untold stories just like this that were never able to see the light of day. 412 first responders in total lost their lives on 9/11. An amazing thing happened the day after, though. The country united as one. People of all backgrounds, people of all religions, people of all races united as one, and for 9 months after that, it was cleanup. Rebuilding what could be rebuilt, replacing what could be replaced, and healing what could be healed. That day forever embedded in the minds of our nation. Never forgetting the first responders who lost their lives doing what was right. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being the heroes we needed, for being the heroes we need.
It is now my honor to bring forth the high school poetry top 3. From Bullard High School, please honor Neela Weinbrenner. From Edison High School, Heaven Valladares. And also from Edison High School, Lily Garcia. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Lily as she shares hers with you.
So, hello, my name's Lily Garcia, and I will be reciting my poem called Beauty Out of Ashes. It was fate, from the moment you took your first breath to the day you're on your way to work. And you do not notice it immediately. You do not notice it while you're eating breakfast, while you're saying goodbye to your family, not even the moment you get the alarm. It's not until you rescue your first person and look around at your team, at the people running with you. You were meant to be here. Can you feel your heart pounding? Lungs are out of breath, screaming at you to rest, to pause for a second, but refuse to. Knowing this is what you were meant to do. You are going to try and save as many people as you can, whether you live or die. Being a hero was never your intention. The truth is, you didn't do anything special. You just did your job. The true heroes are people who didn't survive that day. People who were free to leave, who didn't need help, but they did. And they saved lives knowing they could have died. Slowly, it starts to process what just happened. All of a sudden, you feel something wet hit your face. Only then do you realize that you're crying. Tears for the survivors, tears for the victims, your coworkers, your country, for yourself. From that day on, the work only gets harder, cleaning up the mess that has shattered the nation. But little did you know, your nation is stronger than you thought. From then on, people come together in a way you didn't know was possible. You see complete strangers coming together to help as much as they can. They grieve and cheer together. As a country, we will never forget what happened that day. But what we can do is not let it stop us from being the nation that we know we can be. Because just like you, they refuse to let this define them.
All right, so we've had the logo, we've had poetry, and of course the third component of this contest is art. And if you haven't had a chance to review some of the art that's out here, make sure you do that before you leave. You also see our superintendent from Clovis Unified School District, Dr. Emer O'Farrell, on her way, and she will be presenting the winners for middle school and high school art. Emer?
Thank you so much, and Mr. Wells, I'll forgive you for violating board policy, but I'm glad you didn't steal my art recipients away from me. You know, it's been a very emotional morning, hasn't it? And as I look at the words honor, educate, and remember, I'm here representing the superintendents of the 6 unified school districts who participated in this art and poetry contest. And I'm reminded of the fact that as we want to continue to educate our students, we need to touch their hearts and their souls. And I personally was very moved by the sounds, the music, the visuals of uniforms. Even what really touched me this morning was during the salute, how slowly our servicemen raised and lowered their hands. And in Clovis Unified, we talk about developing our students in mind, body, and spirit. And I know that all of our school districts adopt that attitude, that approach of touching our students. And one of the ways that we can do it so effectively is through the arts. We heard our students singing this morning from the Clovis North Choir, "Remember Me." And I know it touched us just listening to them singing those beautiful words. And then we have a poetry contest and an art contest. What a great way to educate, to connect with our kids, to help them really resonate with what happened back in 2001. And, you know, personally, I'm such a supporter of the arts, of music, poetry, and art. And I just want to thank the 2 students who just recited their poems. I think that was a great idea to have us stop and listen to them recite their poems. And I get to present the Art Awards. And as you've seen, the art, it's unbelievable that middle school and high school students could achieve such beautiful standards in art. And I'm just delighted to be able to do that. So at this time, I'd like to call up our students from the middle school, and our 3 students are Lydia Avent from Endeavour Charter School in Fresno Unified, Emerson Beale from
There she is. Emerson Beale from Alta Sierra Intermediate School in Clovis Unified. There she is. And then also Seila El Isa from Sanger Academy Charter School in Sanger Unified. And their work is depicted here in front of you. And I know that Seila is going to say a few words to talk a little bit about her art piece, which is in your brochure. Congratulations.
I would first like to say I'm so grateful for being here. My artwork, it shows what happened and the tragic event that happened on 9/11, but it also shows the strength of our country coming together. Something that inspired me to do this artwork is the firefighters who risked their lives and the first responders who risked their lives to save the people in the buildings on 9/11 and the Pentagon. Thank you.
I just want to draw your attention to their artwork. Seila is on page 13 in your program, and it really is a beautiful tribute to our firefighters. And then from the high school, I'm very proud and honored to announce Esmeralda Joaquin from Clovis West High School. I'd also like to announce Phoebe Martinez from Clovis North High School in Clovis Unified. And Maya Alcala from Clovis East High School in Clovis Unified. And while Maya is approaching the podium, I'd like to draw your attention to the very center of your program. And there's a story attached to Maya's winning art piece. And she's going to come up here and talk to you. And by the way, it epitomizes what I talked about a moment ago about inspiring and touching the hearts and souls of our youth. So with that, congratulations, Maya, and I'd like to have you talk about your piece.
Hello, my name is Maya. I did the piece towards the middle with the two towers. What inspired me to do it was all the victims, because that's what I feel is the thing is about, like all the victims that were lost, or all the lives that were lost. And I decided to write all the names of every life that was lost, and I made an artwork with those names. I didn't have enough space for all the names on the poster, so I had to write the rest of the names on paper and put them on the back. So, because no one has to be forgotten. Everybody needs to be remembered. Yeah.
Thank you. I heard that she started out and she wrote all the names in the smoke, and then she thought, gosh, I don't have enough room in the smoke, so I'm going to write the names on the towers. And then she wrote the names on the towers, and she realized, I still don't have enough room. So she wrote the names in the sky, and she still didn't have enough room. And Maya decided, I'm going to attach every name, as you mentioned, because every name needed to be on that artwork. And that's inspirational, and we thank you for that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Farrell, and congratulations again, ladies. Did you guys notice the theme here? Logo, poetry, art. Every single winner we had this year was a young lady. So girls, when you go back to school, let those boys know, okay? Maybe next year they'll get in on the action. Speaking of action, we still have our two grand prize winners to announce. Dr. Farrell has remained up, O'Farrell has remained up here. I'd like to welcome back Dr. Cantwell Kofer and Brian Wells, our assistant superintendents from Fresno County, and of course from Fresno Unified. So as I said earlier, the two grand prize winners, we just want you guys to be able to congratulate them and smile big when we take those photos. The two grand prize winners, this is a big deal. You already heard the heart of our winners who've been able to speak, and you see how sincere their understanding is. Just imagine what it's going to be like for our grand prize winners after they go to New York City with a parent and a teacher to visit that National 9/11 Museum and to stand on that sacred ground where the Twin Towers once were. And before we announce the winners, you have your programs, and another thing I want to make sure you notice in there, because you guys see this, and you know it just doesn't appear out of thin air. There are people who have invested so much to make this day possible, to make this memorial possible, and specific to this event, we have some presenting sponsors. So they're in your program, but I'm going to read their names. Hold your applause till the end, and if you know some folks in these groups, make sure you thank them later, because this is special and this is important. We have the Carl and Lulu Mitchell Family Foundation, the Diversified Development Group, Grundfos, New England Sheet Metal and Mechanical Company, and the Queering Company. So can we give a big hand for all 5 of those presenting sponsors? And for the most important announcement of the day, come on up. I want you to welcome a retired Clovis firefighter, Jim Stempler. He was the final lead judge to decide who is going to New York City. So he'll explain who those grand prize winners are and why. Jim?
Hello. So when they asked me to be a judge of the contest, I wanted to make sure they knew who they were talking to, because I have 0 art ability, and if it doesn't rhyme, to me it wasn't poetry. And they said to just go because you are a firefighter and you understand what these kids are trying to accomplish. So with a level of skepticism within my own abilities to accomplish this mission, I was joined by a couple of police officers and some teachers that were there to kind of guide us a little bit. And when we started reading these poems, was the first things we looked at, nothing was rhyming. I was like, uh-oh. But I started really paying attention to what they were saying and the messages. And the thing that really captured all of our attention, police and fire, was these high school and middle school kids had done so much research that I literally asked a question to the other public safety people and to some of the teachers, are these kids of public responders, police and fire? Because they're capturing exact feelings, thoughts that we have. And I hope you take the time to read some of their poems, because even as a layperson, I think you could relate to the effort it must have taken for them to do the research and put it on the paper, things that we in the public safety sector think and feel, maybe push it back a little bit so we don't have to emotionally traumatize ourselves. But it was amazing. And if you watch the PBS special on the history of the 20-year history of the memorial, if you have not, I would recommend you really do that. Anna does a really good job of saying, every time we looked at an entry, that was our new favorite one. Till we got to the end of all the word judging, and it's like, we looked at each other like, well, we got to pick one. So if you're not the winner, I can tell you with all sincerity, it was 9 second places and by a smidge of first place. And that's the same with the art. We're looking at the art. First of all, if you tell me to draw a picture, if it's anything more than a stick figure, it's beyond my scope. But just a thought, just to have the thought to come up with the idea and then the ability to put it onto a canvas, truly humbling. I'm looking forward to meeting them after the ceremony, because it's just, they are truly, everybody is a winner. I know it's kind of a cliche thing to say, but it was a tough decision. It really was. So I don't necessarily have the names in front of me. So who do you want to announce first?
For poetry.
Okay. So poetry, and I will pull this person off to the side later and tell her a backstory about my favorite person, Dr. Kitty Katana up here. For the poetry, again, this is for the grand prize, high school and elementary, all competing against each other for this prize. The winner is Isabella Katana, Computech Middle School, Fresno Unified.
And if we could have her and her parents and her teacher come up, please. And also Dr. Anna Borges and Jerry Cook, if they could come up too, so we could have a picture. We're going to announce the other name before we start taking the pictures.
For the art?
Yeah, Maya.
Okay, so for the art, the winner, grand prize, again, against high school and elementary, grand prize winner is Maya Akala, Clovis East High School, Clovis Unified. Oh, and Superintendent Jim Uvino, if you could come up also. If you're not, is he up here? There he is, okay.
All right, so if you'd kind of come forward and across the stage here. And Cindy, Bella's parents with her kind of right there, and then Maya, if you, where'd Maya go? Here we go.
I'm just gonna do this.
Yeah.
Parents will stand right here.
Doctor, thank you.
Okay, and the teacher's right behind them. Are you guys surprised? Oh, yay. Okay. And then the other school people, could you just kind of come up around them now and fill in?
We'll get everybody in there for a picture.
And then we'll do separate ones next. Jerry, you want to say a couple words of anything, or Paul, just a round of applause for the grand prize?
I could say about the two sponsors.
Yeah.
So we have so many important people here on the stage. Both of our grand prize winners have their families and their teachers. And when I read off the names of the sponsors, there are a couple folks that made it all the way here. Daryl Bolin traveled all the way from Tennessee. He's with Grundfos, and we appreciate him being here today. And we also have Josh Sherfield, who is the CEO of Queering. So they're in this photo as well. I'm going to get out of the photo. And we're going to have some closing remarks here in a minute. But once they get that last photo, I want to wing it a little bit. And I'd like to talk to these two young ladies real quick just so they can introduce the special people with them, if that's all right. I don't think I can walk in front of the speaker or it's going to sound like the F-15's going over. Well, the microphone in front of the speaker's the problem. So let's see. Hey, Bella, come here. Are we done with the photos?
Yeah. But the presenting sponsors,
Yeah.
we'll come back up some more for some
Hi,
more
Bella.
photos in a minute.
So Bella, why don't you introduce your parents and your teacher for us so we know who else deserves some credit here.
All right, so this is Miss Hibbler. She's the Edison Computech Theater Director. She taught me for both years of middle school, just the best person I've ever met. She cares so much about every single one of the kids, and she is my biggest inspiration. This is my mom. Hi, Mom. I'm probably a foot taller than her. I think we've all noticed. But she's the most amazing, supportive person ever. I couldn't have done this without her. She calmed me down before I came here. Turns out I'm all riled up again, but it's fine. This opportunity is absolutely amazing. My dad's over there. Hi, Dad. Love you. You're amazing, and thank you for everything you've done. Here you go.
We won't make you choose which parent's going with you to New York just yet. You have some time to figure that out, but congratulations. And Maya, you have your family and your teacher here too. Can you introduce them for us?
Yeah. I'll start with Mr. Vasquez, my art teacher. Here he is. The one and only. The best art teacher I've ever had. You are the best art teacher I've ever had. Thank you. You were the reason I found out about the art contest, and I thank you for that. You helped me. You inspired me to do it, and thank you very much. And then I have my dad here and my mother. My dad and my mom are both artists themselves. My mom has always drawn for me. When I was younger, I always asked her to draw stuff for me because I wasn't good. And then she would she would draw stuff for me. And then my dad would show me art projects he did when he was in high school himself. And that's where I got my inspiration to be an artist myself. And I just want to say thank you to you both.
And one more question, Maya. Have you ever been to New York City before?
Never.
What do you, face them so they can see you. What are you most looking forward to?
I don't know. New York, it snows, but I don't know if I'm going to be going during the snow time. So I want to go thrifting. You know what that is? I want to go through thrift stores in New York.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, you'll have a little time to do that and to experience a whole lot of history and to really feel 9/11, as you clearly already do. Again, congratulations, and congratulations, Mom and Dad. And I don't know about you parents, but sometimes I think, right, you wonder if you're a parent or a teacher, is what I'm trying to share here really making a difference? I think we saw two great examples in these families and in these teachers that it does make a difference. And again, congratulations to Bella and to Maya. We can welcome them back to the crowd, and I'd like to welcome back up for our closing remarks today, again, the Executive Director of the California 9/11 Memorial, Anna Borges, if you can come up and close us out. And Jerry Cook as well, the Chair of the Board for the California 9/11 Memorial. We'll just have a couple closing thoughts from the two of them, and then we'll let you get on with your afternoon. But thank you again, every one of you, for being here today. I think we can all agree that our future matters. And I think today we've gotten an indication that our future may be in better hands than we hear sometimes. Congratulations to all the winners again. And you know what else? Congratulations to all the entrants. I guarantee you all 176 of them had a life-changing experience participating. So go back and tell your friends at school to be a part of it next year. Anna?
Thank you very much. On behalf of the California 9/11 Board, we want to thank our educators, our administration, our superintendents, our deputy superintendents, our teachers, for helping make sure that our students never forget, that they educate them. And thank you so much, all of the students, for our entries. We had nearly 200 entries. That's 200 students that know more about 9/11 than they did before they started this project. So thank you very much. On behalf of the board, and our board chair, an exceptional man, thank you for coming, and have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you, Paul. No, great job. Great. Thank you.
All right, I think we're done. Hydrate, stay in the shade, and more importantly, remember what I said at the beginning? These young people, the winners, they're going to be in that tent over there. So if you were touched by something they shared, something they wrote, something they produced artistically, go tell them that. Maybe get their autograph on their piece of art or on their poem. They'll be in the tents right over there. Thank you, guys. God bless you. Travel safe.